Greetings, humans. Joey Pigtails here, bringing you a return to my vlogging roots of sorts in episode 37, where I'll be chronologically going through some major hands from a 5-5-10 PLO game that I played, including that massive hand I mentioned in the thumbnail. Before we get into those hands, I first want to celebrate with you. I just hit the first level of monetization on YouTube, which means that I get to shamelessly plug my merch store using YouTube integrations. So if you love what I do and are looking for an additional way to support my journey, consider picking up a new shirt or hoodie for yourself or someone you know, like the No Bad Beats Stories design, which is sure to be a hit. I may also have some of these printed up locally to sell in person, but that's down the line. Anywho, I bought into this 8-handed 5-5-10 PLO game for $1,000. A couple others have done the same, but most players cover. I've played with everyone here at this 8-handed table except for 2 guys, but no one of them, and with the other being a complete mystery to me. I was expecting a tamer game to be honest, but I see a lot of opportunity here, so let's get to work. There have been a few smaller hands leading here, but this is my first major altercation of the session. I opened a 30, which seemed to be the standard set by other players, and the small blind, one of the guys I haven't played with yet, 3 bets to $100. My hand here is defend all day long, and is one of those hands that has enormous equity versus most people's 3-bet ranges of aces and kings and the like, so I make the call to see a magical 7-8-9 rainbow flop. I'm in position and my opponent now checks. Since he has an overpair heavy range, it's unlikely they have any piece of this flop, which also makes it a prime candidate to bluff if I didn't happen to get smacked in the face like I did here. In that spirit, I fire a bet of 125 and my opponent comes along. The turn pairs the board, and ironically I still have number 2. My opponent checks, and I settle on a bet of 200, both looking for value and hoping my opponent spazzes and jams as a bluff, but he folds and I take this down. This is my first time getting aces here. Sucks I have 3 of them. I'm in the $10 straddle position. We see a limp that'll raise to $50 and a call. We can 3-bet this hand, but being out of position really sucks. Still, we can't fold, so I call, and we're going 4 ways. On a queen-high 2-spade flop, I have equity, but again, I'm out of position and it's just a flush draw. I don't have robust equity here. I check and flow, seat 4 C-bets 100, and I'm not folding yet. 2 of us end up coming along to a turn of the 7 of clubs. Ew. I check, and it's checked around to a free river of the Jack of hearts. Aww. Charlie ends up picking this pot up with a nut straight that he checked on the river hoping to get another bet, but that didn't happen. Note the ace of spades is burned here. My buddy Kevin on my left is berating me about one of my aces being gone, since I'm a nit who rarely opens. Love you, buddy. Just another great looking rundown hand. I open a 30, which sees 3 calls. On the 3-5-7 rainbow flop, I bink the shit out of this, and as I fire out $100, Kevin says, "That's not in your fucking range." Let's fold it around to my nemesis in seat 6 from earlier, who pops this up to 350. It's a great sizing as it lets me jam my entire stack in, which I do, and my opponent snaps me off. My opponent has the same nut straight as me, but he doesn't have any redraws. We decide to go twice, with the first board being irrelevant, but the second board improving my hand, letting me take 3/4 of this pot. Oh yeah. We see an under the gun open to 30, and I see double suited kings on the button. This should be a 3-bet there. Even with the 4 being disconnected, having position is huge. I however elect to call, and all 3 blinds come along as well. On a dry queen 6-3 rainbow flop, Charlie bets 40, and I'm the only player that comes along. Charlie now bets $50 blind on the turn, and on the turn it gives me top trips with a queen. I can't fold now, but a blind lead is usually strong. The river is the ace of clubs, and Charlie checks, and there isn't any reason to bet here, so I check back and get the bad news. He flopped a set of 6s, and turn 6 is full. Waking up with double-suited 8s, I open to 30. The button calls, and now the small blind 3-bets pot to 135. There are 2 things I don't like about my hand facing a 3-bet, having a pair and having an ace. It forces us to flop really, really hard. However, I'm in position to the 3-better, and all of my cards are working together, so fuck it, let's see a flop. I call, and the button calls too. On Queen Jack 8 rainbow, I flop bottom set and a double gut shot straight draw while blocking the nuts. Our aggressor checks, and I fire 250 as a semi-bluff. I have equity, but the only hand I'm beating that I expect to call from is something like an Ace-King-10 wrap. Both players end up folding though, and I take this one down here on the flop. Here's another interesting hand to open as the RFI. I toss out 30, and only seat 6 makes the call. On 7-7-3-2 spades, I flop pretty much all of this, but don't have it yet. I've been in quite a few hands with this player, and I feel like he's going to be calling me down really light since I've won a bunch of hands against him without showdowns, so when check 2 on the flop, I check it back. I managed to hit a baby flush on the turn, and probably should bet here, but I go ahead and check it back here too. The river is the 4 of diamonds. Remember, the mystery box could be anything, even a boat. My opponent now leads for 25, and I elect to pop this up to 75, hoping for a crying or inquisitive call, but he lays it down. Maybe I should have bet the flop. Continuing the trend of being the RFI, I open a 30 with single-suited 7s, which sees 4 calls. On King 8-6-2 clubs, I have 3 outs to the nuts here, but this isn't my board, and I check and flow to see it check through. The 10 of spades in the turn gives me a bunch more equity. There are a couple of checks before seat 7 bets 75. I'm never folding here, obviously, but is a raise in order? I'm hard blocking the nuts straight, so in hindsight, that would have been pretty sexy. I call, and we get one more call as well. On the Queen of Spades river, I bink this again and see both players check. I settle on a value sizing of half pot, 175, but don't get any callers. I need to start betting smaller on these kinds of rivers to ensure I get value when nutted, and to also give myself some opportunities to bluff future river cards. We see a limp before seat 7 raises to 30. Here I am again with double-suited kings, although this time in the small blind. I make the call, and we end up going 3 ways to a flop of ace, queen, 3, 2 spades. I've got a pair and a nut flush draw, but seat 7 is uncapped, so I check and flow to see him bet $30. No need to raise, so I call, and we're 3 ways to the turn of the 8 of spades. Bingo. I should be leading this all day long, but I was hoping to check raise this, so I check, and sadly, it gets checked through. The river is the worst card we can see, an ace. I check to see a bet and a call from the other 2 players, and yep, boats all the way around. We see a limp before seat 7 opens to 30 again. He's getting really active. I call on the button, and 2 more players come along as well. On 7-8 queen rainbow, I flop a double gut shot with top pair, but check this back when checked to me. I'm thinking of a card, and oh look, the 10 of hearts. Nice. I fire $100 when checked to, and only seat 7 comes along. With the river being a complete brick, I bet 175 when checked to, but again fail to get a call. That's another great example of needing to use a smaller sizing on the river to get more value when nutted. Here's another nice rundown hand. I open a 30 and see 2 calls. On 8-7-2 rainbow, I can't ask for much more from my hand. I bet 75 when checked to, and now Andy in seat 5 check raises to 300. We're both sitting $1,900 deep here, and I don't think this is a spot to fold, so I make the call to evaluate. The turn is a 4 of hearts, giving me the nuts straight with redraw outs to the boat. I don't have any hearts in my hand, though. My opponent now leads for 600, and with the nuts and more in this spot, I want to get it in and charge any potential draws, so I jam, and my opponent snatched me off, saying he's free-rolling me. Wait, what? Really? I thought I was the one free-rolling here. We show our hands, and Andy has 5, 6, 9, 10, the same straight with a monster redraw. The only thing that would make his hand better is if he had hearts, but thankfully he doesn't. So check this out, guys. From right here, I'm actually a big dog in this hand. I can hit 4 cards to improve, any 7 or 8. Andy can hit a 5, 6, 9, 10, or jack to improve, totaling 14 total potential cards. The only safe cards for us both are an ace, king, queen, 2, 3, or 4. 22 total cards. We chop this most of the time, but someone gets quartered half the time and scooped a small percentage. We decide on 2 river cards and run them out, a 5 on top improving Andy, and a 6 on bottom also improving him, giving him the scoop here. What a massive cooler there. I did end up buying back into this game and played for another hour or 2, but none of those hands were significant. I won a couple of small pots and lost exponentially more small pots and bled it off before calling it a night. For those of you that played with me on Friday at Orange City, you'll remember what a roller coaster session I had during that 8 hours. I recorded that, so the next vlog will feature the biggest and most complicated hands from that session, including bomb pots. My plan right now is to play a few sessions this weekend without recording and just enjoy the fun and atmosphere and camaraderie that I try and foster with you all. It's always such a pleasure to have fun and friendly people to interact with, so please continue to join me and tell them that when you get on that list that Pigtails sent you. Thanks again for stopping by and listening. I'm Joey Pigtails and I am transparent, reminding you all to be a good human. Bye.